Welcome to SVR IAS Academy. ComeOnIndia.com is our website. In today's newspaper analysis video lecture, you will learn so many important topics which are useful for the IAS 2017 examination. Today's date is 21st October 2016. Let's start today's newspaper analysis. First, we are going to discuss about India-US relations. The article has been published in the Live Mint. It is one of the important article for the IAS 2017 examination. So this article deals with the Trade Policy Forum. Trade Policy Forum is an initiative between India and USA to talk about trade related issues. In this Trade Policy Forum, India raised its concerns with the US, especially on various important areas like totalization agreement, trade facilitation in the services, greater access to the agriculture market. These are some of the areas that India raised to the US, and USA also raised various trade related issues with India, especially to the local sourcing norms and other important areas. So let's discuss one by one in detail. As you might be knowing that India signed bilateral investment treaty with more than 72 countries. At present, we are developing a model bilateral investment treaty. After that, we are planning to renegotiate the investment treaties that we signed with more than 72 countries. US expressed its concerns over India's efforts to renegotiate the existing investment treaty with countries. So it's one of the area raised by US. And second issue, the issue raised by US is that stringent local sourcing norms in the single brand retail. For example, Apple company wants to establish its own stores in India across the length and breadth of our country. For that, 30% of the components should be procured locally. It is called local sourcing norms. It will be a part of Make in India initiative because 30% of the items, if procured locally, will increase the employment opportunities for Indian youth. But US wants India to relax the stringent local sourcing norms, especially in the single brand retail. So Apple phone company is located in California. So it's a California based company. There are few words that are coming in the news regularly regarding the local sourcing norms. They are state of art, cutting edge technology companies. Apple CEO visited India and asked India to relax the local sourcing norms. So initially we planned to relax the companies which are considered as state of art and cutting edge technology companies from the local sourcing norms. Later, India changed its stand and asked all companies to comply with the 30% local sourcing norm like any other company. If Apple opens its first store, means within 3 years it has to comply the 30% local sourcing norm. Not only for Apple, for any company, whenever the company sets up its first store, 3 years time period is there. So within 3 years it has to comply with the 30% local sourcing norm. US also asked India to liberalize the retail, financial services and professional services sectors. So remember, US asked about local sourcing norm and is also asked about liberalizing the retail, financial services and professional services sector. So India is preparing a model bilateral investment treaty that already we discussed. So we are planning to renegotiate the existing bilateral investment production and promotion agreement with the 72 countries. The main objective is to keep the domestic tax laws out of the ambit of such agreements. One important point is that India and US does not or have not signed any bilateral investment treaty with each other. This is an important prelims point. USA has also raised another issue in the Trade Policy Forum meeting which was held in New Delhi recently about India's high tariff rate and seeking exemptions from the global trade rules on certain items. In our earlier video lecture in the paid service, we covered about bilateral investment promotion and production agreement in detail along with the PDF notes. Another issue that India and US both raised is about greater market access for the agricultural commodities. India asked US to simplify procedures for importing mangoes, grapes and rice from India, and US also asked India to simplify the procedure for cherries, boric acid and alpha straw. Prepare about boric acid in the general science. It can be asked in the prelims examination. Food safety clearance. Food safety clearance is the another area that both countries raised. Laboratories in India, if give the clearance to the food items, maybe not getting the clearance from the US labs. So both countries has to agree for the common standard which are practiced at the international level, especially like Codex guidelines. Codex Alimentarius. Codex Alimentarius is one of the important area for prelims and mains examination every year. UPSC already asked a question on Codex Alimentarius few years back in the prelims examination. So prepare thoroughly on this topic. If you want to get the video lecture on this topic, visit our website comeonindia.com. Another important area that India raised is about totalization agreement. At present, India has signed totalization agreement with so many countries, but India does not have an effective totalization agreement with the USA. So India is asking USA to sign totalization agreement as soon as possible, because totalization agreement is nothing but social security agreement signed at the international level, so that there is no need to pay dual social security contributions by migrants. For example, from India, lakhs of people are going to US for work. They are contributing for the social security in the USA as well, but they also have to contribute in India as well. So the dual social security contributions are there between migrants between India and USA. Indians who are staying in the USA are contributing to social security agreement, but the issue is that to get the benefits of social security in USA, they have to stay for 10 years in the USA. But visa is given only for the maximum period of 6 years. Indian gets visa for only 6 years, but to get the social security benefit, Indians have to stay for 10 years, then only they will get the social security benefit. So every year, lakhs of Indians who are staying in US pays $2 billion towards social security contribution to USA, but get nothing. So over the period of last 4 to 5 years, India lost nearly 25 billion US dollars towards social security contributions, but Indians received nothing. That's why India urges USA to sign the totalization agreement. If the agreement is signed, Indians no need to pay for social security contributions in USA. Only they have to pay in India. India also raised another issue about trade facilitation in the services agreement. Trade facilitation in the services agreement as proposed by World Trade Organization. So these are the important areas raised by India and USA. So this area contains so many important topics like totalization agreement, local sourcing norms. So prepare thoroughly on these topics. If you want to get the separate video lectures on this topic, visit our website commondindia.com. This article has been published in Times of India newspaper that deals with the ExoMars project, and another important topic, that is giant meter wave radio telescope. Giant meter wave radio telescope, which is located at the Kodad in the state of Maharashtra. European Space Agency has launched a Mars mission called ExoMars project, and recently the satellite has lost its communication to the Earth. The name is Schiaparelli Entry and Descent Module. Schiaparelli Entry and Descent Module. European Space Agency has assigned the task of getting the communication from the Schiaparelli Entry and Descent Module to Giant Meter Wave Radio Telescope that is located in Kodad in Pune for tracking the spacecraft to the Mars. The purpose of the ExoMars project is to land the spacecraft safely on the Martian surface. So in this background, you have to prepare thoroughly on the ExoMars project and about 100 words in the Giant Meter Wave Radio Telescope. These two areas are important for the GS paper 3 within that Science and Technology section. To get the video lectures on the ExoMars project and on the Giant Meter Wave Radio Telescope, visit our website commondindia.com. Another important topic is about LODA versus BCCI. BCCI stands for Board of Control for Cricket in India. So BCCI stands for Board of Control for Cricket in India. It is the world's richest sports body, in the world, and recently the Supreme Court appointed LODA committee to make suitable recommendations to make the functioning of the BCCI transparent. So LODA has given so many recommendations. LODA committee has given so many recommendations that we already covered in our separate video lecture in our website commondindia.com, and BCCI is not ready to the changes proposed by LODA committee, and the case is going on in the Supreme Court, and recently Supreme Court has given important judgment. The judgment bars BCCI from releasing funds to the state cricket associations. So the Supreme Court judgment orders BCCI to release funds only to the state cricket associations if the state association agrees to the recommendations made by the LODA committee. LODA committee also asked BCCI to appoint an independent auditor to to scrutinize the BCCI accounts and high value contracts awarded by BCCI. This image nicely explains the top 10 recommendations of the Lodha committee. The first recommendation is to separate the governing bodies for IPL and BCCI. So IPL is becoming the game is the one way to earn money. So the governing bodies for the IPL and BCCI should be separate is one of the recommendation. And second recommendation by Lodha committee is for the limited autonomy for IPL governing council. Only limited autonomy should be provided for the IPL governing council. Third recommendation is no BCCI office bearer can hold two posts simultaneously. So no BCCI office bearer can hold two posts simultaneously. Another recommendation is that BCCI office bearer should not be a minister and should not be a government servant. Another recommendation is that 3-year tenure for the office bearers. So BCCI office bearers tenure should be 3 years and they can hold post for only 3 terms. The term is only 3 times. Each term should be 3 years. Another important recommendation is that one state, only one sports association and only one vote. At present, in a single state, more than one cricket associations may be there, but according to the Lodha committee recommendation, in each state only one cricket association should be recognized and the association should be given only one vote. And the Lodha committee also asks BCCI to appoint ethics officer. The ethics officer should be a former High Court judge to decide on the conflict of interest issues. Another recommendation is Lodha committee asks BCCI to form an apex council with the 9 members to run IPL game. Other recommendations are Lodha committee proposes to set up the Players Association. And the 10th recommendation is that BCCI should legalize betting. That is, Lodha committee asks government to legalize betting in cricket. So these are the important recommendations made by Lodha committee to the Supreme Court. So prepare thoroughly on the Lodha committee recommendations. It can be asked in the mains 2016. To get the video lecture on this topic, visit our website commoonindia.com. Another important topic that came in the news, and the article is published in Times of India newspaper about New Horizons spacecraft. New Horizons spacecraft and its important discoveries. This topic is important for the mains 2016. Prepare thoroughly on this topic within 100 to 150 words, especially with respect to its achievements and important findings. The spacecraft was launched by NASA to study the structure and Pluto and its moons. So the main objective of the New Horizons space probe is to do research on the Pluto and its moons. Pluto is the dwarf planet. Earlier it was considered that our solar system has 9 planets including Pluto, but few years back International Association said that Pluto is not a planet. It is a dwarf planet. It is a dwarf planet. So officially at present our solar system has only 8 planets. Only 8 planets like Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune. Pluto is not a planet, that is a dwarf planet. In this background, we advise you to prepare about dwarf planet. What is that? What is the criteria to call a object as a planet? There is a criteria, so prepare thoroughly on the criteria as well. Earlier, it was considered that Pluto does not have any cloud, but recently the New Horizons space probe spotted possible clouds which are hovering over the Pluto. It indicates that weather in the Pluto is much more complex than what we thought. Another finding is that the New Horizon space probe also found brightest areas in the Pluto, which means the most reflective in the solar system. The meaning of brightness is the surface activity. So the dwarf planet, that is Pluto, shows surface activity as well and also has clouds. These are 2 points, cloud and surface activity. These 2 points you should remember. And one surface feature that is missing in the Pluto is landslides. Landslides are absent in the Pluto, but landslides are spotted on the Pluto's largest moon, that is Charon. Is an important prelims point. What is the name of the Pluto's largest moon? That is Charon. We also advise you to prepare thoroughly on the Hubble Space Telescope as well. These are the important areas for the mains 2016 and also for the 2017 IAS examination. So prepare thoroughly on these topics. To get a video lecture on Hubble Space Telescope, visit our website comeonindia.com. That's all about today's newspaper analysis video lecture. We hope you enjoyed the video lecture and invite your friends to subscribe to our YouTube channel so that everyone will get benefited, and all the best for your IAS exam preparation.